All right, Richard Jain and Heman joining us this morning with their view on things. Richard, let's just start off with you. What a reversal we've seen in trade when the market's bouncing back. What are some of the key levels that you're watching out for now? Richard, if you can hear me, given the strength of the bounce back we saw yesterday, what are some of the levels that you're now watching out for on the index? Okay, we've lost the line there.
I just one small point before Richard even gets to it is that sometimes what happens is that when the market opens the next day and everybody is surprised, we're dealing with a complex adaptive system very similar to a beehive. So we don't know which bee stung which the other bee and why they went and plucked 3 flowers. So sometimes every morning we try to look for cause and effect, and I can tell you sometimes there is no cause and there is no effect. It just happened. And yesterday I was just trying to figure out why did the markets move. And you look around the globe, nothing happened. Nothing happened except we moved. So there are sometimes things that are happening that they may not be able to explain. That's very valid. As long as out of 10 times, 7 times they get it right, it's more than enough.
Okay. We're still waiting for Richard and Hemant both to join us, but plenty of stocks and strategies to run through with them. And of course, Ashu, we've been looking at a whole host of those names on the charts as well. I can see quite a long list. I'm wondering if we've been through it or if there are more of those.
No, most of them are very strong on the chart. So let's just put a couple of them out if we can. Let's start out again with MP Distilleries. EMPE and Ravi Kumar. In some of these stocks like Ravi Kumar and all, I suggest you go and look at a little bit of history. Did the stocks get stuck? Were they pledged? If they were pledged, is there some issue? Don't just get tempted because some stocks start to move up. MP moved up, so now Ravi Kumar. That's the mistake we made. So the charts may be showing something, but there's some of these stocks have histories, and you need to check the history first. So it's not a very clear chart. Yesterday, of course, it moved up. It's also penny. MP Distilleries, if we can just bring it up now. See here. You're seeing leaping candlestick charts. That's a very clean sign. Now, Upper Ganges, Sugar, Andhra, Oudh, if you're looking for a clear trend, certainly Sugar had a very clear trend in all of the stocks, and I'll show you a 1-month chart also. The same was with paper, West Coast Paper, Star Paper, Tamil Nadu Newsprint. So just look at the chart. What a beautiful leaping chart. Essentially it just leaps up. The candles become bigger. What is the meaning of a candle becoming bigger and leaping is that the opening price on the next day was higher than the closing price, and it went much higher. Just look at Upper Ganges. You find patterns like this. Doesn't matter whether they're called hammer, tongs, cup, handle, shoulders. Who cares? That's what it is. You don't need a word for it. Americans came up with some word or the Japanese came up with some word, doji, XYZ. It doesn't matter. You just look at the pattern and it's very, very clean and clear. Kakatiya Cement is one more I want to take. Diamond Power Infrastructure, very strong. Let's put up the charts for that. And Ramkey. So just hold this Kakatiya. This is what I call a copybook style. The candles increase and it leaps, which means the opening prices are way higher. That's the kind of momentum you need for a stock to sustain. So the question is, when does the trend end or bend? Well, that's when you make $1 million and the others don't. Mm-hmm. So that's the skill you have to develop over the years, but clean charts in many of these.
Okay, we've got, I think, Richard with us. Still waiting for him shortly, but Richard's with us. Richard, so let's talk about some of the levels that you're watching out for on the index.
Yeah, good morning. Overall, Nifty has bounced back from its crucial support level of 7670, and the momentum that carried on in yesterday's trading session post gap up opening, that indicates that there is still some more upside still left in the index. We are expecting this index to move up to 7920 to 7950 zone, where there is a next resistance coming in. So in spite of today's negative opening, what SGX Nifty is indicating, I think that post-opening markets would again recover and go higher. So one should clearly stay positive biased in the market. And 7920, 7950 is the level that I'm watching that Nifty should test in a day or two.
Good morning, Ruchit. It's not just a rally, but the nature of the rally that we have to look at. So it's not just the Nifty that moved. If you go across the board on small and mid caps, I mean, you have stocks with 20% gains, hundreds of stocks that are hitting their freeze. I wanted to, and nobody talked about a short. In any case, many people were not short because we had such a long rally on the Nifty. Is this an absolute return rally? Could we really be just heading to 9,000? Because it's not just a few stocks, the entire market's running up.
Yeah, good morning, Ashu. Ashu well rightly said, this moment is a part of an uptrend because it has been, it has been led by majority of the stock. And this time it's not that a few stocks are leading this index higher. So there's a mass participation which is going on right now. But if we are talking about 9,000 or further higher levels, I think before that it needs to cross this crucial resistance zone of 8,000. We have seen in recent past, in the month of December, 8,000 acted as resistance. In January, 8,000 acted as resistance, and again in the month of April also this 8,000 level acted as a stiff resistance. So unless we cross above this 8,000, I think one should stay clearly focused on short-term trades as of now. Because this rally has been more led by mid-cap stocks, wherein we are last two trading sessions we are seeing the mid-caps are showing good outperformance. I think such movement would continue going ahead. But I think then let Nifty cross 8,000 mark on 8,000 mark only, then only we should come to the conclusion that yes, the new upside momentum would start from those levels.
Okay. Rishit, from the stocks that we saw in the move yesterday, let's just start off with a few that stood out for you in terms of buy calls that you're looking at, or stocks that really made some noticeable moves, and we had a lot of them yesterday. So I just want to first get what was top of your list.
So among the oil and gas space, we are bullish on this sector. We are recommending a buy in GAIL. We have already recommended at lower levels, but even at current levels, I think short-term traders can look to go long in the stock. The stock although yesterday it didn't move significantly, but day before yesterday in Friday session, we have seen good upside breakout of crucial resistance of 376. So I think this positive momentum would continue going ahead. So at current levels also, we are advising our clients to buy the stock. One can keep stop loss below 360 and target of 415. Similar from oil and gas space, we are also recommending to go long in Petronet LNG. The stock is in a linear uptrend, continuously forming higher tops and higher bottoms. Last 12 months when we saw markets corrected, the stock showed a sideways correction. So that's a positive sign that in spite of prices correcting in the index and other mid-cap stocks, this stock has corrected time-wise rather than price correction. So now the stock has again resumed its uptrend by forming another higher top and higher bottom. So I think this stock has potential to go up to 300 in very short term. So at current levels, one can even look to buy Petronet. One can keep stop loss below 258 and target of 300. And lastly, in yesterday's session, we saw a good breakout of a range-bound trading coming in from Asian Paints. Asian Paints last 6 to 8 months, the stock was not doing anything. It was a broad range which was formed from 840 to 900. The stock at least 3 to 4 times tested the 900 resistance level in last 3-4 months, and again had came down again around 840. So yesterday it had given a breakout of that range. We have a gap on the weekly chart. So if the momentum continues, I think good upside momentum of this 80-100 rupees could be seen on the upside in very short term. So with keeping a small stop loss below 888, one can go long in the Asian Paints at current level and target of 938.
Richard, the fact of the matter is that charts work very well when there is great trader diversity, which is there are thousands of institutional guys who can go this way or that way. But we know domestic institutions cannot really play futures and options. Foreigners do. And my question here is, if I had $200-300 million, I know everybody's waiting for 8,000 to break. All the calls are building up there. I mean, I could just go, yep, let's just take out this 8,000 once and for all, so that whoever is there on the wrong side has just been completely cut down to size. Is it possible, Ruchit, that we just get that 8,000 quick and soon, and they basically drive out everybody who was trying to build a call position or anything else at 8,000?
Yeah, sure, that's what, where major resistances come, and when those resistances cross, so two things happens. One thing is that those who are short into the system, they look for covering the short positions. And second, those who have missed on to the recent rally, they would come in that, yes, now there's a breakout above the psychological or major resistance of 8,000, and now the markets are headed further higher. So fresh buying coupled with short covering would lead to sharp momentum on the higher side if 8,000 breaches. But why I am not saying that right now that yes, we should preempt this move and let the 8,000 would be breached at current levels. Technically, a super trend indicator, which is generally shows the major trend of the market, turned bullish on 2nd of March, which was just couple of days after the Nifty bottomed on the day of budget. So, and that indicator on the daily charts have now given a sell signal around 8,000 mark, the recent high which was made. So unless, I think that's the main reason that I'm not preempting this move, that this move would cross the 8,000 mark. Rather than, I would, we would advise our clients to book profits on the long positions around 7920, 7950. If it crosses, if Nifty manages to go above 8,000, then as I said, fresh buying and short covering would lead to further 200 or 300 points, or maybe even higher than that Nifty could go. But let's wait for the cross of above this 8,000 mark. Even if you book profits around 7950, 7920 and re-enter the markets above 8,000, you won't miss a big up move. It will just be a gap of 50-80 points which you would miss. I think that's quite fine to wait for confirmation before getting into fresh longs. So our advice would be just to book profits on the long positions around 7920, 7950 and wait for a confirmation of breakout above 8,000. If it crosses 8,000, then again re-enter long positions over there.
So Ruchit, you brought up a very interesting point, and I just want to emphasize that there are points in the market where the buyers will come in, the shorts will have to close position, and those who were skeptical will join. So essentially, if you were on a seesaw, think of right now the market may be balanced because there's a 50 kg guy sitting with a 50 kg guy. When what Ruchit is saying is going to happen, a 300 kg guy is going to sit on one side and a 10 kg guy, and the market goes. So Ruchit, let's say we do cross that 8,000 level. There's amazing momentum across the board. So now the question is not what stock to buy, but where the strongest momentum is, where you will get the maximum gains. So Ruchit, if you can walk us to 2 or 3 sectoral or stocks where you think the momentum is the strongest if we were to cross 8,000.
Yeah, so firstly, if we see the recent rally, what happens in such an uptrend, the guys who have leaded in last couple of months, the sectors which have leaded in last couple of months, they would continue to outperform. So one thing, if you see majority of the stocks, then Bank Nifty has been the sector. Previously, when the markets were in a downtrend for making low tops, low bottom, Bank Nifty was outperforming the Nifty index. It was falling more than the Nifty. And now when the markets are going up, definitely this index have done much better, and this is going higher, much higher than what Nifty has given returns. So I think this outperformance which was there in the Bank Nifty sector would continue going ahead. So Bank Nifty would be the one sector. So banking sector would be the one sector which needs to look. Even if we see within this banking sector, then private sector banks have so far outperformed in last couple of months. It is quite attractive, to leave this private sector banks, and because PSU banks are looking attractive or they have not outperformed, traders would look to buy PSU banks at current levels just because they have not performed significantly in last couple of months. But my advice would be, rather than looking at stocks which have not performed in last couple of months, look at the stocks which have outperformed in last couple of months. The strength is there, and these stocks would continue to show strength going ahead. So private sector banks within the banking sector have shown good strength in last couple of months, and I think this would continue to outperform in case Nifty is to cross 8,000 mark. So focus would be more on private sector banks, and I think they would be the leader to take Nifty higher in case if 8,000 mark is crossed.
Okay. Hemant Thukral is also joining us this morning. Hemant, we've been tracking some of those indicators, and after the bounce that we saw yesterday, just to get your views as well in terms of what we're looking at on the derivative side of things and how it's stacking up.
Yeah, good morning. I think first very important indicator was the way yesterday's 78 put writers came back into picture. After 3-4 trading sessions where 78 call writers were trying to put pressure on the market, we saw that it was because of a sudden flight. We saw 78 put writers coming in and call writers unwinding positions. That's a good signal for the market. So now 78 should act as a very strong base. And even if you check it, the market managed to cross above 200 days moving average. So I think now again 78 to 78.30 zone should act technically also a strong support. So till the time we do not actually go back below that, I think the market has potential to go up to 8,000. Remember that 8,000 has the highest call writer. Like last month it has, this month also it has the highest call writing positions. So that would be a real stiff challenge. We saw it last month also. Average selling price of 8,000 is 37 rupees right from the day of the series. So if you manage to cross 8030, then it's a big rally on the cards. Otherwise, it will be more or less between that 7750, 78 mark to 8030. But right now, if you get a dip intraday because of the global cues, I think that gives you a buying opportunity. But do keep a stop loss of that 78 zone, because if you go below 78, then yesterday's rally comes into a question mark. So till it holds above 78, chances are high that we should touch once 8,000 on the higher side.
Good morning, Hemant. I bounced this question off Ruchit, so I'll put it to you also. There are rallies where a couple of stocks take the market up. Here is a rally where not just the Nifty, but broader indices, hundreds of stocks are running into a freeze. When you have such a broad-based rally, what are the odds that you will not break that 8,000? Usually, if we are not a very diversified market, somebody who has 200-300 million would just take these guys out once and for all, and then 8,000 becomes the next level. Just looking at the broad-based rally, Hemant, what are your thoughts?
See, Ashu, I do believe that when the liquidity comes in, it becomes very difficult for any level to hold, for that matter. But having said that, I have been a big follower of option writers, and I have seen if the unwinding has to happen, you will see it beforehand only. They preempt market better than the others. So in last month also we saw Nifty trying to reach to that 79.80, 79.70, and it fizzled out the rally. This time, yes, because you have consolidated, you have seen a correction and you have started moving up again, the chances are that you will test 8,000. If the liquidity continues, you will come out of it. But I have a feeling that you will see that coming in the data points. If there is unwinding in 8,000 call, it's a very good signal. But for the time being, there is no unwinding. So I will go with what the options data is suggesting, that 8,000 to 8,030 is a stiff resistance zone. If there is unwinding in 8,000 calls and I see more addition in 7,900 puts, that will give me that confidence that the market is trying to move up. And another signal which I was just hearing from the other speaker is Bank Nifty, because that is one more area. I'm just jumping the gun here, because 17,000 call writer is the most active in the Bank Nifty. So any of the two it breaks, that means if it manages to cross 17,000 there, I think 8,000 call writer, you will see some unwinding happening. But unwinding has to happen, otherwise 8,000 will continue to act as a very stiff resistance. So I will continue with this, that for the immediate short term, I feel 8,000, 8,030 is a stiff resistance zone.
Hemant, there's always a question, who's on the other side of the fence? Who are you fencing against? I remember speaking to a currency broker once, and I asked him, who's writing all these options that one is buying? And he said, random people. I mean, they just think rupee is not going to go up and they write an option. I was shocked. I said, no, you mean to see these are not being written by institutions? These are not serious banks? He said, no. When you know the other guy is not strong enough, then you are very confident about the position you're taking. So, Hemant, who are these guys writing these calls? And who are these guys writing the puts? Because that may then give an indication whether they are stronger or the buyers of calls and puts are stronger.
Ashu, that's a very difficult call to take. I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying that. Why it's more of a prediction that the call or option writer is more stronger, or he has more risk-taking ability, because for obvious reasons he's playing for just the premium. Anybody selling 8,000 call for 38 rupees, he knows his maximum profit. So I feel it's more to do with HNIs and the big guys who are selling these options. I don't see retail selling. Let me be very clear, because I have seen this setups for a lot of years now. Retail don't sell for 8,000 for 30 or 35. They will rather sell 82 call, or they run away very fast. The moment they see Nifty crossing 79, you will see them booking profits in 8,000 and going to 82. So it has to be well-sourced market guys who are sitting here. And let's not forget, some of the people may have bought a Nifty and sold 8,000 calls. So that's a very difficult call to take, that who is selling 8,000 calls and how much power he has. So I would say, rather than that, is that let's respect the concept of writing of options, and writer always takes a higher risk, and it's presumption that he's the one who is much with the deeper pockets, and it's a well researched guy. So I would go with that rather than trying to pinpoint that who actually sells these calls, because I have a personal feeling that retail don't sell 8,000 and wait till 79.80 not to unwind 8,000 calls.
Okay, Hemant, let me get to some stocks as well. Let's in fact take a look at some of your strategies first in terms of anything specific you're tracking. We did see some build up on the likes of Asian Paints, Jet, Arvind yesterday. What's looking good to you? We're tracking Z numbers. HUL came out yesterday as well. What's looking good to you in terms of how the data is stacking up?
See, from the data point of view, I would recommend two stocks. One is Jet Airways. I think the way the stock has seen open interest addition yesterday, and it's come on the back of lot of consolidation. I don't think I have seen Jet in such a fashion consolidating between that 600 and 630 mark. And now it's moved up with yesterday with fresh addition of 12% OI, delivery volumes moving up, clearly telling now if it doesn't break 635 on the downside, which was the upper end of the consolidation range, it's clearly heading towards 685, 690. So if you are buying today, keep a stop loss of 635 and a target of 690. Another stock which is very looking good is SRF. Now again a stock which has seen a lot of consolidation, and now it started to move up, fresh breakouts yesterday, and again it was the highest OI gainer yesterday, 17% OI built up. But both Jet and SRF, one thing is common, the consolidation pattern and then breaking it out. And I now think if it doesn't goes below 1385, it's now heading towards 1480, 1490. So both the counters are mid cap, both of them are high beta spaces, so stop losses are must. But both of them are looking very strong on basis of derivatives data. So good trading picks for 1 or 2 sessions.
All right, let's take a very quick break. We'll be back and continue that conversation in just a moment. Here are some more picks from Golfman.
Nifty has formed a short-term correction in last couple of weeks. It has retraced 61.8% of the entire April rally, and near those levels it has taken support near its crucial daily moving averages. From these supports, Nifty has started moving up once again. And from short-term perspective, I am expecting Nifty to target the area of 79.90, 8,050. Now, on the other hand, gap area of 77.53, 77.38 will act as a crucial support from short-term perspective. Jet Airways has been trading in sideways manner since last 3-4 weeks. In terms of price pattern, it has formed a bullish flag pattern which has broken out on the upside in the last session. Even the daily Bollinger Bands have started expansion after a significant contraction, which suggests that a sharp move is in the offing, and I am expecting the move to unfold on the upside. So I have a buy call on Jet Airways, and from trading perspective, stop loss can be placed at 641, whereas target will be 686. IRB has been in correction phase from short term as well as medium term perspective. The recent correction has retraced 78.6% of the previous rise, and near the crucial Fibonacci level, bulls have rushed in to provide support to the counter. So it has jumped up sharply in the last session, when the daily momentum indicator has given a fresh buy signal. So I have a buy call on IRB, and stop loss has been kept at 214 and a target has been pegged at 228. Glenmark is currently trading in between its daily upper Bollinger Band on the upside and crucial daily moving averages on the downside. In terms of price pattern, it has formed a bullish flag pattern which is likely to break out on the upside. In the last session, the stock has formed a bullish outside bar on the daily chart. So this is also a good buying candidate from trading perspective. Stop loss has been kept at 815 and target at 870.
Welcome back. You're with us here on Street Smart. We're tracking pre-open for you. Just about a minute and a half left to go in conversation with Richard and Hemant this morning. Richard, let's take a look at some of the other stocks that we're tracking as well today. We have, in fact, a whole host of them that have been reporting earnings as well. Yesterday we had HUL, as I mentioned, we had mid-caps like Alstom, Deepak Nitrite, for example, some of the other names there. A whole host that will also be reporting numbers today that we'll also be watching out for. So from the mid-cap pack, names like an NIT, which has been running up, sugar counters, which also we've been seeing fairly volatile. So from this basket and in terms on the back of earnings triggers, just want to get a few names from your stocks from the mid-cap pack that are looking attractive.
From the mid-cap packs, I think sugar sector would continue to do well. We have seen some good momentum in the mid-cap sugar stocks picking up in last 2-3 days. And in fact, even if we see action of last 3-4 months, then the up move that has been seen in all the sugar stocks, most of the sugar stocks, is an impulsive up move. So there are two kinds of move wherein if the up move is impulsive, then there is definitely in the direction of the main trend. So I think this upside momentum or up move would continue going ahead. One should not preempt that this move would end soon or would come to an end just because the momentum have got overbought after such a rally. I think such positive momentum would continue in sugar stocks. We have seen a good rounding bottom upside breakout from upper Ganges, even Mawana Sugars. And we are focused more on Balrampur Chini within this sector. So I think Balrampur Chini is a good potential buy even at current levels among this mid-cap sugar pack.
Okay, pre-open on your screens there, still deciding really which way to go. But quiet today, unlike the gap up that we saw yesterday. On your screen, we're seeing some of the stocks that are active in pre-open today. So Bajaj, for instance, so far was looking good. Bring up a few others, bring up a Reliance ONGC that were looking good yesterday. Bring up a Z ahead of numbers, for example. Some of these names that we're trying. Commodities, keep an eye on that as well because of the collapse that we're seeing in terms of global commodities. Tata Steel Hindalco closed week yesterday as well. And we'll just see how some of those are looking in pre-open so far. Also looking weak once again. So keep an eye on commodities. Banks, they drove the rally yesterday. We'll see if they're also maintaining momentum today. Sensex and Nifty now seem to be on a downward trend.
Yeah, well, there will be some defense at 8,000 because, if what Hemant is saying, that a lot of the call writers have written 8,000. So obviously they're like insurance companies selling policies, so they don't want to get it wrong. So there's going to be some fight out there. But I'd say the kind of momentum we saw yesterday was was extraordinary. It wasn't just in some stocks, it was across the board. So let's look at a couple of stocks if we can. State Bank of India, if you can also bring up ICICI, HDFC Bank, because that's where the strength is. And what I also notice is Reliance is doing very well. Reliance is close to 1,000. That was not participating. So it's a very, very broad-based rally. If I was just looking at it psychologically, do I really want to be on the side of saying, no, this market doesn't have momentum? And especially call writers, they're smart guys. Without getting into who they are, so they can see it. They can see that there is a broader strength. And I'm not sure they'll, maybe at the last moment they withdraw, but I'm sure they're not going to defend the indefensible at the moment.
All right, we've also got Sugandha Sachdev for a quick check on the currency. Sugandha just hit about 66.6 this morning. How is it looking to you?
After a lot of consolidation and not being able to nudge past the 66 mark, we are gradually witnessing some depreciation that's coming in the Indian rupee, wherein it has actually inched lower to a 1 week low. It's all because of the resurgent dollar. In spite of the gains that we have seen in domestic equities, it's a resurgent dollar that's actually having a negative impact in the Indian rupee. All in all, going forward, we feel that in case 66.90 mark is breached, we are headed towards 67.20 mark. In spite of the fact that we are witnessing strong inflows in domestic equities, but still the dollar index, which is actually strengthening significantly, it's having a negative impact. There have been mixed comments from the Fed officials. One senior official last week repeated his view that Fed could actually raise rates twice this year in case the economy shows steady improvement. And another Fed official is in support of cautious and patient approach. So as of now, in case the dollar index strengthens further, we are going to see Indian rupee edging lower towards 67.20 mark.
All right, Sugandha, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Gaurang Shah is also with us. Gaurang, a beautiful spike up that we saw yesterday. Today, again, once again in pre-open, it seems like we might have a little bit of resistance coming in so far from what it looks like. most of our technical analysts, of course, have been tracking the trend and saying now it's looking good. But from the fundamental side, Gaurang, we know that things don't change overnight. So, how much conviction do you have in the kind of bounce we saw yesterday?
Morning, Abha. I think when all the opinions are on one side, it is better to be on the opposite side. And not to forget, last time we were at 7,900. We sold off and we saw 7,700, and the opinion was maybe 6,500 or 6,200. But that never happened, and we are at again very closer to that 7,900 mark. So like you rightly mentioned, fundamentally things don't change overnight. But yes, having said that, sense is that from a short to medium term point of view, I think the opening is going to be a little bit soft to negative. And in case if you don't have very supportive data points from the global market and from the domestic arena, then we are likely to consolidate. My sense, Abha, is that we'll spend some time over here. 7,860, 7,900 on the higher side on the Nifty spot, and 7,820 to 7,780. Broadly, if you ask me, it's going to be 80 to 100 points, wherein we'll spend some consolidation over here. And if we happen to cross over to 7,900, then I think one has to see whether we still have strength and the steam to go towards that 8,000 mark. Because remember one thing, purely on short covering, you are not going to reach that 8,000, nor are you going to see a sustainable level above 7,900 on the Nifty spot.
Right. Hemant, question for you first, and then I'll go to Ruchit. I've got a list of stocks where the charts look strong enough. If you can, if you've looked at them on the futures side or the options side, I'll just read it out, whichever ones are in your mind. Hemant, this is for you. Muthoot, Amtech Auto, Manappuram, Shrey, LIC Housing, Reliance Cap, Ramco, First Source, India Bulls Real Estate, IFCI, Yes, Syndicate Bank, Union Bank, OBC, UCO, Axis Bank, BOB, BOI. I know it's a long list, Hemant. Anything you want to pick from there?
See, actually speaking, very few stocks which are there in F&O. But having said that, I'll pick it up for Reliance Capital first. I think the stock has seen huge additions in open interest yesterday. 6% percentage may be lower, but OI base of RelCap is very high. So RelCap has added good amount of shares and it's managed to cross again 405. I think the stock is on a verge of giving a very big breakout. If it doesn't goes below now 402, 403, I am actually having a higher target of 425, 430 on the same. One more stock which you mentioned, which I have kept today on radar, is LIC Housing. For two reasons. One, it has rebounded back from 450, 455. Secondly, it has underperformed all the housing finance companies in last 15 days. But it becomes a buy only if it manages to cross 470. That is why I did not mention first here. So if it crosses 470, then it's a very good buy for me till 500. But first it should cross 470. Reliance Capital is looking much stronger among all the NBFCs. NBFCs are in any case trading with a positive bias. I think I would ask people to buy Reliance Capital in the list you had just mentioned.
Gaurang, good morning. We had a very broad-based rally, and compared to the Japanese, where they are happy to pay the banks, we have stocks, some of which are up 20%, 9%, whatever the free. So I'll just list a couple. Whatever you think fundamentally you find attractive, that will be great to hear. Themis Medicare, Hester Biosciences, Exchanging Solutions, Store One Retail, MP Distillery, Ravi Kumar, Jayant Agro, Upper Ganges, West Coast Paper, Star Paper, HOV Services, Ramkey, Diamond Power, Kakatiya Cement. My apologies for the long list, but before the market opens, I thought at least I'll bring a fundamental view on a lot of the technical stocks that were running up.
So Ashu, the Japanese guys will have to do what they will have to do, and we'll have to do what we have to do. So let's face it, I think there are negative interest rates in Japan, whereas here we are a little bit better off. There is an aging population in Japan, and we have an age population of more than 34, 35 years on the larger side of the total population. So we are in a better shape, let's face it. On the list that you mentioned, Well, it was an endless list, to be very honest, and to be very honest again, we don't have any of those names that we cover under our universe. But let me say one thing over here. The reason why I'm a little bit skeptical on the markets moving ahead is that we have a whole host of PSU bank numbers coming out during this week, and of what we've seen of the banking names and the numbers, I don't think that you are going to see a very pretty picture in terms of the PSU bank numbers, and there are some of them are very scary. PNB, Punjab and Sindh Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Bank of Baroda, Allahabad Bank, some more bank come out, Dena Bank, etc. So my sense, Ashu, is that if we are going to point our fingers to one particular negative factor that's going to be pulling down the market, that's going to be the banking or the bank nifty or the nifty bank, whatever you call it, because the numbers are not going to be very exciting for the PSU banks that will unfold during this week.
All right. Well, Richard, in fact, that's a good point. Given those PSU bank earnings that we're still watching out for, I want to get a sense of your take, whether it be on the bank nifty, on specific PSU names as well. We've also been looking at a whole host of stocks in the sort of mid-cap financial space, NBFCs, housing finance. A lot of them also been running up. Anything there that's catching your eye?
But first, coming on to Bank Nifty, well, probably 17,000 is a crucial resistance which needs to be crossed in case if this momentum has to be led further higher. And as I earlier also said, last couple of months we have not seen any good performance by this PSU bank. So the price movement of private sector has been a quite good outperformance rather than PSU bank. So I think going ahead, even if Bank Nifty manages to cross the 17,000, one should not look to do any kind of bottom fishing, or one should not look to buy PSU banks from trading perspective just because they have not rallied much in last couple of months. Those stocks which have showed strength in recent past, they would continue to show strength in case if such a breakout in Bank Nifty comes. So I would not advise going long in the PSU banks from trading perspective, but definitely if 17,000 is crossed in Bank Nifty, then private sector banks could see further momentum on the higher side. Coming on to this mid-cap stocks, then I think I was just going through the names that Ashu just ran us. And Muthoot Finance among those stocks, is looking quite attractive. We have seen this stock was continuously forming higher top, higher bottom, and since last 4 months it went into its consolidation phase. So it has shown a good time-wise correction rather than a price correction over here. The uptrend seems to have resumed now. So I think this would be the one stock to watch, which could go much higher if anyone is taking from 1 to 1.5 months perspective. So in mid-cap space, I think Muthoot Finance would be a good stock to look out. 198-200 is the major support for the stock. So create any long positions with keeping stop loss below 195.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We've also got Mohit Gaba joining us, and Gaurang Shah and Hemant still with us as well. Pre-open quotes coming in on your screen. Just flat today, Ashu.
Yes, and again, my own thought is that